officially in spring and summer is just around the corner, so I thought that for my next sewing project I will make the perfect spring-summer set, and I'll be fully using patterns from iGlow. Welcome to iGlow. Hi, my name is Fabiana and I'm going to bring you along with me while I show you the process of how you can make your own patterns for your measurements, create your own digital avatar, and do that in just a few minutes. I swear pattern making has never been so easy since I started using iGlow, and once you do, there's no going back. On one of our last YouTube videos, I asked you guys what you'd like me to sew or what patterns you'd like me to try out from iGlow, and I got a comment for the asymmetric skirt, and that's what we're going to be doing today. This will be part 1, and in the next week, I'll be sewing the top part of the set. I'm really excited. I've already gotten the fabric. The color is absolutely perfect, so I'm excited to show you how you can make it yourself as well, and maybe you can work on it at the same time. You can open up your laptop or phone because iGlow is actually a website and it's available on both, and we can just work together at the same time. You'll see it's so easy. So let's get started, and let me show you first my inspiration. Since I already know what pattern I'm using, I'm looking for inspiration that looks a lot like my pattern. I found these examples. I love how sophisticated, elegant, yet minimalist they are. This is definitely the vibe I'm going for, especially for summer. I like the length. I like that it's not maxi and not too short, but I'm definitely using another color for it. If this is your first time watching one of our YouTube videos, the first thing you need to know is that all of the patterns that I make here are from iGlow.com. So I just head to the website and I almost always choose this option here, which right away leads me to all the patterns they have and options that I can use. And since I know I'm using the asymmetric skirt already, I'm just going to look for it on the skirt section. There's tons of patterns for you to choose from, but I'm using this one. And as soon as you create one pattern, this is what will pop up. This is a base avatar, so you can modify it right here, or you could also use your measurements. I do know that I want to make it a little bit longer, so I just play with that. But I always recommend to go ahead and choose your avatar first, so you can either choose any you have saved already, or you can create your own one. You just have to add these measurements, so it's super simple. I really like this length, but I think I'm going to make the cut a little bit longer. After testing 1, 2, and 3, I think the best option is to just customize it. So here I'm just playing around with the sliders and seeing what option I like best. I noticed that I can modify the front and back cuts separately, which is great. I think I really like this one. It looks pretty similar to what I have in my inspiration. So now, since I already have my fabric, which I'll show you in a little bit, I'm going to choose the color, which is yellow, and linen, which is the fabric I'm using, so I can imagine it a little bit better and then compare it with the final result. Here you can see the seam lines that you'll have, so the sides, the darts, the waistline. And something really important, don't forget to save your pattern. If you close your tab without saving it, you won't have it in your project files. Something I absolutely love about iGlow is that you can check here in this little textile calculator how much fabric you'll need for each specific design and size. Now I can just download my pattern. I always download it in the US letter format, and I love the look of a thicker hem, so I'm going to set a 4 centimeter seam allowance for the hem. And I also always reduce the distance between each pattern, so I use less paper when I print, and then I just print my pattern as I normally would. Here I completely assembled my skirt pattern, and now I can just go ahead and start cutting every pattern piece. Okay, so I've cut all my pattern pieces now, and I have my back panel, which has 4 darts, 2 on each side. Since this is an asymmetric design, you just have to cut 1 for the back and 1 for the front. Here's my front with 1 dart on each side. And I also have my waistband panel, which I'm not going to be using because I'm going to be lining the skirt up to like here, I think. So not fully lining it, but just enough so it doesn't look too see-through, and I won't be adding a waistband. So let's cut everything on our fabric. I knew I wanted to go with linen. It's one of my favorite fabrics. It's perfect for warm weather and it's pretty easy to sew. But I didn't know what color I wanted to go with, and I found this baby yellow fabric, and I've always wanted to try to make something this color for myself, and it is so pretty. You can see the natural fibers. It has like a white and yellow thread, so it's super pretty. And I also got some lining. It's a really soft, thin cotton fabric that matches the yellow tone on the linen. I have to admit that every time that I'm going to cut some fabric, I iron it first, but linen creases so much that sometimes I just decide to cut out my pattern and then press it properly, because with linen you're going to end up ironing 50% more than with any other fabric. So as long as I know that the pattern and fabric are laid out properly, I'm okay with it. Even though it's a longer skirt and an asymmetric design, I can already tell that this project is going to be on the quicker side, so hopefully it won't take me too long. And after cutting the fabric, the first thing I'm going to do is close the darts on the front and back panels for both the lining and the main fabric. Okay, so the first thing I did was close all of the darts for the main panels and the lining. And now I'm going to zigzag stitch the left edge of the front and back panels, because that's where I'm going to add the invisible zipper. It's going to be on the side. After that, I can just close the front panels together, and the same with the lining. I thought I had a perfect matching zipper for my yellow fabric, but turns out it was too yellow, and honestly white just looked better. But this zipper was too long, and something I discovered a few years ago is that it doesn't matter if your zipper is too long, you can just cut it off at the end. Just make sure to leave the extra length on the top. Finished attaching the zipper, and I closed that side, and look how perfect it turned out. I love it when the zipper turns out perfectly on the first try. And since this is linen, it gets a lot of creases, so I'm just going to make sure to give it a good press and also press the darts towards the sides. The fabric I'm using is 100% linen, which means I can go all the way with the heat on my iron. I love it because linen is so easy to press, even though it creases all the time, and it's so satisfying. I just have to close this side, and then I can attach the lining, which I have already here. Now that both my lining and main skirts are ready, I can just attach them together at the waistline. I've just attached the lining, and I'm going to trim off the zippers. I absolutely love thicker hems, especially on fabrics like linen, so that's why I made sure to set a 4 cm seam allowance for the hem in Aiklo. And as you can see here, that's the hem allowance that we have. So what I'm going to do is press about 1 cm in towards the wrong side of the fabric, and then I'm going to press the other 3. And now I'm going to do it for the other side. I am so in love with this skirt. I think it's going to be my go-to skirt for this summer. The color is perfect, the fabric is perfect, and the fit is perfect. I swear, Aiklo never disappoints. You can clearly see how it fits me like a glove. Every time I sew an Aiklo pattern, you can see how it fits me perfectly on the waist, on the hips, the length. I did not modify a single thing and it fits me just like this. And I cannot wait to use the rest of the fabric to make my top in the next week, so stay tuned for next week's video. And don't forget that you could also try out your digital avatar and patterns for yourself in Aiklo.com. All plans are currently 40% off and an extra 20% if you use code SEW20, so do not miss out.